Hi everyone, this is Kevin from Smart Choice Homes here. Welcome to the second video of the Penrith series. So in the first video we covered the east of Penrith. Today we're going to cover the west of Penrith. And for this video, I'm going to add a collation at the end of all the amenities we've gone through in the east and west. Should have done that in the first video, but yeah, no worries. It will be here in this second video, and I'll definitely update it along as we complete our exploration of the south and north of Penrith too. So without further ado, let's start exploring the west of Penrith. We are back at the Penrith site, the same shelter walkway at the same side gate. So I'm gonna head west now, and if you notice, this is actually the same path that we are taking, or we have taken when we were doing the walking to the MRT station. So it's actually a pretty nice trail here. As you can see, it's a park connector, right? So you have plenty of shade and greenery. And on the left, we actually have a church as well as a preschool here. So yes, another childcare center option. Okay. So not to worry, as I've mentioned earlier, I'll collect all the amenities. That includes the childcare centers as well. And this has part certification, the Little Seeds Preschool. Okay, this is how it looks like, the back of it anyway. As we look to the right of the park connector, this is the Queenstown Primary School, at least the back of it. The front of it I'll show in the north of Penrith video. Now, this primary school here is actually right beside Penrith, so it's definitely within 1 km to Penrith. Now, the only issue I have is that it's not a top school, because if you look through all the different websites that ran the primary schools, this school actually always turns up like 100 plus in terms of ranking. So I'll say that this is the first thing I dislike about staying in Queenstown or living in Queenstown, because there's no top primary school here, like at least top 50 or something. Of course, not everyone is looking for a primary school, right? The top primary school within 1 km of where they are staying. So that's that. And also, there's always that saying, right? Every school is a good school. So yeah. Now let's move on to the next section. This is Queen's Peak, and on the left you have the overview information. On the right is the profitability for the transactions done in the last 2 years, broken down into 1, 2, 3, 4 bedroom. Yeah. So for the overview information, the main things to take note would be that the tenure started from 2015, so that's where you start your 99-year count. TOP date was 2020, and total units is 736, so versus Penrith's 462. And GFA size wise is about 6.8k bigger than Penrith. So size wise, slightly bigger. Yeah. Now let's move on to talk about the profitability. Now take note that we are doing a walkabout video here. So I'm just going to give the profitability as an overall view in terms of its performance. If we really want to compare in terms of like accuracy, right? We should look at the annualized gains, and even the annualized gains, we should look at the annualized gains for shorter holder period versus longer holding period, things like that. Yeah. Now, in terms of the 1 bedroom performance, actually pretty good. It's 250k. That's actually a really good result for 1 bedroom. 2 bedroom you have 317k. 3 bedroom you have 363k. 4 bedroom 735, and 5 bedroom 1 million. Now for the 4 bedroom and 5 bedroom, the reason why is also because of the size. The size is really big. Okay. Now, more importantly, you should be looking at the PSF, and of course, even more accurately, is the annualized gains. So we'll talk about that later when we do the analysis video. And straight out ahead, we actually have the next condo project to talk about, Commonwealth Towers. So here is the overview of Commonwealth Towers. If you look at the tenure, it actually starts in 2013, so about 2 years earlier than Queen's Peak. And TOP is 2017. So they only took 4 years to build versus Queen's Peak taking 5 years. The land size in GFA is about 1,000 plus bigger on the Commonwealth Tower side. So that's why the total units is also higher, 845, because they have the same plot ratio. Now, developer is the one that I think I missed mentioning for Queen's Peak is HY Realty. Whereas for Commonwealth Towers, it's actually a consortium between Hong Leong and CDL. So in terms of developer, these two are definitely more renowned. More importantly, let's talk about profitability. Commonwealth Towers on the right, you'll see that the 1 bedroom does not perform as well as Queen's Peak on the left. In fact, Queen's Peak's performance is actually one of the better ones for 1 bedroom in general. And I'll let you guys guess why that is so. Let me know in the comments, and I'll definitely reveal this when we do the proper full analysis video. And likewise, right, for the Commonwealth Towers, I'll review the reason why is it that the 2, 3, 4 bedroom for Commonwealth Towers is performing so much better than Queen's Peak 2, especially the 3 bedroom. We're talking about 200 PSF, addition 230K more than Queen's Peak. It's a fantastic difference. One last thing I want to talk about for Commonwealth Towers is that the side gate here, this is the real gate for Commonwealth Towers. All right, before that, this is the Commonwealth Tower view of how it looks like in case of the comparison graphics were blocking it. And this rear gate here actually links directly to the HDB or amenities for Sky Oasis. And I'm going to talk about that next, as well as the food. Before we talk about the food, you can see that it's just a short walk to the amenities over here. So on the left is the Kopitiam or coffee shop. On the right is 7-Eleven, a bakery, hair salon, and a clinic. So not to worry, I'll give you guys a more slowed down view of the 4 amenities that I just mentioned before we go into the food. As you can see, the hair salon is here, bakery is over there, 7-Eleven further down, and on the left here is the clinic. Time for my favorite topic, food. So on the left, you have the Fatty Bonbon, which is like a Western store franchise. And they have the old school deep fried oily buns that are really good, of course unhealthy. And you have a mamak store, you have a vegetarian with mala xiang guo, and you have Basil King. I don't know sure if you have heard of this. There's like 10 plus outlets in Singapore. They've gone viral. It was first in the Bangkok, I think, street food. So Basil King is really nice. I personally like the flavor a lot, and this is what I usually recently ordered. I've had it a few times already. This Sao is also not bad, Ya Huang. And right beside, I think is Ban Mian. And there's this Hua Long Yu Tou Lu, which is a zi with the steamed fish head, steamboat, sorry. Fish head steamboat. But the fish head steamboat, to be honest, I've tried it and I'm not impressed. I think the one at Jalan Sultan area is much nicer, the one that's like almost 100 years old, the restaurant. Okay, so other than that, on the outer part of this coffee shop, there is also a Cai Fan. But for me personally, I don't really like this Cai Fan. I feel that the one at Skyview at Dawson is better. But anyway, this is taste, quite subjective. But yeah, so let me share what I usually eat here, which is like, what I spend more time talking about, the Western food, Basil King, as well as the Shaola. Zi I tried a few times, but yeah, like I said, not that impressed. Right? So that is it for the Kopitiam. We are going to move further down because there's yet another playground. Multiple playgrounds here in Queenstown area. All right. As we go further down the path from the Kopitiam, right around this corner, you will see the Sky Oasis Playground. So let's jump straight to that now. Right in front, you can see the spider structure, and there's actually handles on the leg. So I guess you can climb it up like monkeys, not children. But yeah, maybe it's for older children. Okay, my child is definitely not at that age yet. And if you look at the two swings on the right, these two swings are actually very ideal to play in the afternoon. Why? Because these blocks over here, they actually block the afternoon sun. Unfortunately, there's morning sun now, but they actually block the afternoon sun, and it's very nice and windy, and just lie down there and swing. Very nice and relaxing. And straight ahead, you'll see that there's a pavilion over there. That's actually where you usually do your voting if you end up staying in this area. Okay? Yeah, and this is how the rest of the playground looks like. In front of us is MY World. It's basically another childcare center or preschool, and it's just right beside the Kopitiam. In fact, if you go further down the path, you'll reach the Kopitiam as well as the clinic. Okay? That's to help you orientate yourself. In front of us is the Comcare by MSF, and right beside is actually the MY World Level 2. Yes, we are now at Level 2 of the building that has the MY World Childcare as well as the Kopitiam earlier. So if we turn around the corner over here, we will actually reach another playground. Yeah, but it's not a big playground. We'll jump straight to the playground. And this is the level 2 playground. So they actually have different features for different ages of children. This is obviously for older children, where you can climb up, do the rope obstacle, course thingy, go through the ring, and then there's slides and steps for you to climb up as well. Now, the playground here is pretty small. And please excuse the umbrella picking out at the top because it's actually raining right now. And this here is definitely for younger children. I used to bring my kid here to play this. This is like those wind chime slash piano thingy. It emits a lot of different kind of sounds. And as you go further down, you have like a variation of seesaw, actual seesaw, as also a merry-go-round, a sitting style merry-go-round at the very end. Okay, so yeah, it's a pretty basic playground. And bad thing about this playground is that it doesn't enjoy any shade. It's always very hot here, other than right now when it's raining. Now we are actually right underneath the level two playground, and this is the Faith X Active Aging Center. So yeah, there's another active aging center here, and this is a fairly new one. And as you can see, it's very crowded. They're actually playing bingo right here. So yeah, it's a nice environment. Firstly, to orientate ourselves, on the left is where we just came from, the active aging center. You can also see Commonwealth Towers over there. And right now, where I'm at, right, it's actually right in front of the site where the old Queenstown Cinema used to be. And back then in 2018, there were bids released planned for this to be a 5 or 6 story shopping mall with cinema. But because it was back then during COVID, right? So there were no updates since then. So this is actually one of the things I dislike about living in Queenstown. We don't really have a shopping mall that's within walking distance. Like this wouldn't be directly connected to the Queenstown MRT, but it's definitely more walkable than for example, Anchor Point or Alexandra Central or IKEA. In fact, if you look at the URA master plan, it's still zone commercial, and the HDB EMAT is still showing this as QMall under construction. So let's see how it goes. To the right of the QMall site is actually the Margaret Drive Food Center or Hawker Center, and of course, straight ahead is the Sky Residence HDB. Okay, Sky Residence at Dawson. So let's check it out. We are now at level one of the Margaret Drive Food Center. You see here the store with the queue is the Dongji Jifan. They always have a lunch crowd queue, and their roast chicken is nice. Next, I want to talk about is the Wok AI. This actually uses a machine to fry the fried Hokkien prawn mee. And in front of us, we have the chef Western food that is open during dinner time, only dinner time. Han Zhanai here has a fried rice that's pretty decent, different type of fried rice options. Xing Ji Ji Fan, that should be like the trademark chicken rice in Queenstown, if you know your history. So that's my personal favorite as well. White chicken definitely better than the Dongji. Queenstown Lontong, you see here the long queue. This is actually, according to my friend, the best mee rebus and lontong in Singapore. He comes from Jurong just to eat this. And yeah, you have a variety of other stores here as well. We are now at level two of the Margaret Drive Food Center. You can come out either via escalator or lift, as shown here. Now I'm going to go on the quieter side first. So first off, we have a fruit store as well as a satay store with Muslim food. The satay is not too bad, more Malay style. But personally, I prefer the one at the Alexandra Village Hawker Center. And straight down here, we have a Chinese dessert store. I've only tried the Chengton and it's not bad. Now, as you turn the corner over here, straight ahead, we actually will reach the most popular store in this level 2 hawker center, which is the 客家擂茶, which is like Hakka Thunder tea. So supposedly healthy and delicious. I have not tried it because the queue is always so long. Two Muslim stores over here. There's a Hong Kong style wanton mee that's relatively new. I think they are resting today. I've not tried it, but it looks pretty decent. And this Vietnam food store is also new because it used to be something else. Haven't tried it. The yellow signboard here, this is curry rice. Very good, but only open during dinner time. Drink store here, not bad. The soya bean drink. And the one right beside it is actually a soya sauce chicken, a saola store. But I think the soya sauce chicken rice is very nice. It's more like a Hong Kong saola kind. Okay, and you have two other stores here. And this wonton mee is actually relatively famous. It's the one that is in the Tanling Hawk Center. They actually moved over for Tanling Hawk. Actually, a lot of the food stores here moved over from the Tanling Hawk. And this makanan Singapore as well. And this Queenstown, the Western food here is nice. The cream pasta with the fried chicken, fried fish, or even the chicken chop. This fried rice, the uncle actually managed to make the chopped kailan in the chicken fried rice. I have never ever seen this combination before. Only this place, and somehow he makes it work because it still tastes great. Except that sometimes his fried rice might be a little salty. Yeah. Okay. We are now outside of Margaret Drive Hawker Center. That's the Margaret Marketplace. And we are at Block 34, Sky Residence, Dawson, another HDB estate. And as usual, there's another playground here. Oh, and by the way, Block 34 has a PCF Sparkle Tots as well, another childcare center. And this playground here is actually bigger than the Sky Park and Dawson. It also has similar elements in terms of like the obstacle course, the balancing, the rope play, climbing up. So a lot of hand-eye coordination practicing for your kids and building up confidence. So which is good. But I personally still prefer the Sky Park at Dawson because this area here is a lot more crowded, being as the fact that it's next to the hawker center. Okay. Now we are at the level 2 of the Margaret Marketplace. It's a bit special because you can only enter this area from the food center escalator as I showed earlier. Now, within the level 2 itself, it's quite simple. You have a hair salon on the left as well as a gym, 24-hour gym if I didn't remember wrongly. This is like the nice setup for the Margaret Marketplace. That down there is level 1. You can just see level around here. There's a medical clinic here, a laundromat, and a Yakun. Margaret Marketplace. This is basically a heritage center. So do check out online the heritage details of it. This signboard shows you what's on level 2, which I already covered. So now let's go into the Margaret Marketplace itself and see what's inside. Anyways, basically all food. So on the right side, you have Curate. It's like a fruit store. And you'll notice that there's not much people here because right now at this point of taking it's still early in the morning, this recording. Creamier has a very nice pistachio ice cream. Try it if you have not. Tea Tam Fan. I have not tried this, but they have a very cheap Kao Yu. There's a short setup there. Nasi Lemak, Bowen's, Western food, decent. Kung Fu Chu Fan, Chinese food, not that great. I have had better. Kumi Taiwan food, nice. I like it. I have actually eaten it a few times. Decadent Donuts, relatively new, used to be something else. I have not tried. Fernando's Pizza. Yeah, I've not tried it as well. And there's a Margie, the market bar here. So it's like a bar. You can sing KTV live, which the entire place can hear, by the way. And there's a Daebak Korean restaurant here, which I've seen great reviews, but I personally have not tried. My wife is always very fixated on eating the same few food, yeah. So that's why there's a lot that I have not tried at this marketplace yet. Now, looking at me zooming in this area is because right across, right down the path there is a 24-hour Sheng Siong that is huge. Yeah, it's a really big 24-hour Sheng Siong. So let's check it out. This is the 24-hour Sheng Siong, the big one. So because there's so many people inside, and I don't think it's a good idea for me to film all over the place. So I'm just going to quickly show you guys how big it is. So this is how many shelves there are. This is look at how deep in and how many shelves there are. This is how long it is. And this is how wide it is. And inner is even wider. We are now at the end of this Sheng Siong, right outside of it. So if you turn around here, we see there's a church in front of us, and beyond that, there's actually a Margaret Ville, a condo in Queenstown. I'm going to jump straight to talking about its performance now. This is the overview for Margaret Ville. So the tenure started in 2017, so it's about 2 years later than Queen's Peak. TOP was actually only 1 year later. GFA land size are all pretty small. As you can see from this block of land, I mean, there's only one block, right, compared to like Queen's Peak and Commonwealth Towers, and total units is like 309. So in terms of the profitable transactions, you also notice at a first glance here, if you compare Queen's Peak to Margaret Ville, most of the Margaret Ville transactions are actually underperforming compared to Queen's Peak, or rather they don't perform as well. Other than the 3 bedroom. So maybe you guys can leave in the comments, let me know why you think that the Margaret Ville 3 bedroom is doing better than Queen's Peak, even though the rest of the transactions are not doing as well. And obviously, all the Margaret Ville transactions are actually not doing as well as Commonwealth Towers as well. So I think the reason should be quite obvious, right? Given that it's so far to the west of Penrith, which means that it doesn't enjoy all the amenities that are east of Penrith. The walking distance to MRT is also further for the Margaret Ville. But yeah, so do feel free to let me know why you think the 3 bedroom Margaret Ville actually outperformed Queen's Peak despite all these factors. All right, now next up, we're going to look at the Penrith showroom. Okay, next I'm going to show you guys where the Penrith show flat is. It's actually just opposite Margaret Ville. And it's actually under construction right now, so it's not ready yet. The preview starts from 3rd October, so it will be ready on from 3rd October onwards. And this is just a map to show you where the sales gallery or show flat is. As promised, this is the recap slash collation of all the amenities we've gone through in the east and west of Penrith so far. Okay, so for the amenities, how you read it is that the total numbers in bold will be that of the total figures. So total number of kopitiams, 3. And I actually listed which HDB estate or particular place like Dawson Place Shopping Centre has it. So yeah, this is I'm not going to go through the full list obviously. So you guys can just pause this video anytime and just look at the list if you want to. You notice the last 2 columns says a bit far for walking. So this will be the ones I add on when we talk about the south of Penrith and north of Penrith. Because for the south of Penrith, right, if you think about it, you pretty much need to walk to the MRT station, then cross the MRT station to the other side of the road before you then walk again to the rest of those amenities that are south of Penrith. By the time you cross to the other side of the Queenstown MRT station, it's already like 6-7 minutes. So it's not something that you can walk daily, but maybe like during the weekends when you want to go to one of the cafes in the south of Penrith, that's an option to consider. So yeah, I'll definitely be updating this list as we cover more in terms of like the south of Penrith, north of Penrith, which should be the next 2 videos. And once we have more information about Penrith itself, I'll definitely do the full analysis video where we compare the layout, the site plan, etc. And obviously the price matrix. Okay. Now let's move on to the next section. Now, if you have seen my thumbnail for this video, it's about 3 things that I don't like about Penrith. Right? Why not Penrith? So the first one is already covered earlier in the video. No top schools within 1 km. Yeah, there is a school, but it's not top school. And number 2, I also covered earlier in the video. No shopping mall near Queenstown MRT station. I mean, the silver lining is that it's still planned for in the URA Master Plan 20245. That has not changed. In fact, as a resident who's been staying here, I can tell you the only update that I know about, right, is that they were actually doing some boxing drain works, and that has been completed. So really just waiting for URA or HDB, whoever the agency is, to do the next step and release the tender for developers to bid. So yeah, if you understand how this works, it means that it's going to take some time before the shopping mall actually comes into fruition, like actually physically manifest. Yeah, it's going to take years because the tender process has not even started. Yeah. Okay. So number 3 is something I have not mentioned in the video yet, but I want to talk about it because if you think about it, right, in this Queenstown area, there's actually not much nightlife to be enjoyed. There's no late night food options here as well, unless you want to count 7-Elevens like convenience store food. But I'm talking about like those late supper places, right? Yeah, there is no such place in Queenstown itself, which I think can be considered either a good or bad thing depending on what kind of lifestyle you are currently living. If you're someone who rests early, you definitely would love that there is no nightlife here, right? Because there's nothing disturbing you. If you want supper, go somewhere else get a supper. Yeah, basically that's the gist of it. So for me personally, it's not that much of a deal breaker having like limited nightlife or late night no late night food options here. After all, Holland V is really really close, and to be honest, even Holland V's crowd is really thinning out these days. So that's that. Okay, yeah. So these are the 3 reasons why not Penrith. All right. Now let's move on to the outro. In fact, okay, this is the outro itself. All right. Basically, stay tuned for the south and north of Penrith that we will further explore. If you find that the video has helped you so far, please like and subscribe. And yeah, remember to contact me at this number if you are interested in buying Penrith or joining me in staying in the Queenstown area. Any project in the Queenstown area or any other project in Singapore. All right, thanks. Bye everyone. Bye.